today's injury report, for today's practice report. Did not practice with Dennis Daly with an ankle and Kawan Short with a foot. Limited in practice was Dito Gross-Matos with a concussion and John Miller with an ankle/groin and Brian Burns with a thigh. Other than that, we can turn it over to Coach and open it up for questions.
As for questions, let's start off. David, you can ask the first one, and then Josh Graham can follow up with the second.
Yeah, Matt, I just wanted to ask you, you guys went ahead and put Christian on injured reserve. What's the thought process behind that? And why'd you guys do that instead of having him around the team more, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, he's still around the team. He's still here. He's still in meetings. He's still at practice. It just means that, he's out for the next 3 weeks. So we gain that roster spot, and then it's at least for 3 weeks. And after that, depending on how long it takes, we'll go from there. But look like it would be at least 3 weeks. And so we'll take that spot for somebody else.
David, did you have a follow-up there?
Yeah, can you tell us who that spot will go to, and what's about Reggie Bonifant?
Nothing. We haven't done anything with Reggie yet. Obviously, Reggie being on the practice squad, he can be elevated or he can be activated. Like we elevated Woodrow last week, so I think we'll probably work through those things over the next couple of days. But everyone's at practice, so we're able to give everyone reps. It's just kind of figuring out the best moves as we look at our injury situation.
Hey, Coach. Are you hopeful KK is going to be able to go on Sunday? And then a second piece on that, just how difficult is it to locate somebody who's as good as he is, a defensive tackle of his caliber, and let alone try to replace it?
I mean, I'm hopeful KK will play, but I mean that'll be determined by his health, obviously, and whether he can go or not. So we'll see. We'll know more tomorrow, I think. Seeing if he can practice tomorrow. I mean, he's an all-pro caliber player, so I mean, obviously, you hate losing those guys, but we're a place that's going to always have confidence in our players, and so the next guys have to step up and go play. But Kawan Short, he's an elite player, and so we're certainly missing his production. So this is a good opportunity for some of those younger players and other players to step up and fill the void.
All right, we'll go to Elena for the next question, and then Joe.
Matt, I was wondering, is Dennis, obviously he was back at practice for the first time today, is he progressing the way you would like to, and just your optimism about him being available Sunday?
Yeah, I don't know that he'll be available. I wouldn't rule it out, but I don't know that he will. I think he's progressing. I think he's doing a nice job of coming back. I just think it's one of those injuries, that originally probably the time frame was like 4 to 6 weeks. I think this is like 3 weeks right now. So, I'm not a big time frame guy. I just rather the body heal, and it looks like it's healing well. So, if he's ready this week, great. But if it's next week or the week after, he's doing all the right things. I'm proud of his work ethic, and when he comes back, we want him to come back, full speed.
Hey, Matt, I have a real quick follow-up on that, and then is Dennis's a high ankle?
Is it a high ankle, you said? I'm sorry?
Yes.
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
And then with Mike Davis, he was a guy last year. He got here late, seemed like kind of an afterthought for that former staff, and obviously Christian was having a big year. What did you see in him, over the off season or when you watched tape that made you think that he could, have a fairly big role with you guys?
Well, Nixon stood on the table for him. I mean, Jeff's been the running back coach in Miami. He's been with the 49ers. He's been with the Eagles. I mean, he's been a lot of different places. And he recognized his skill set, I think, really early. He said he's a powerful back. He's big. He can run, with speed, with power. He's got great rush skills. He catches the ball out of the backfield. So all the things that we ask a back to do, he can do all of them. And, from day one, Jeff said to me, I think he's a great compliment to Christian. And then if anything ever happens, he's a starting running back that he can play at that level. So that was Jeff's evaluation, as we went into free agency and all the, the draft and all those different things. And so that always, kind of hung true in the back of my mind. Then we got, we didn't have OTAs, we didn't have anything like that. So we got to camp and, you see all those things in camp. He had a really, really good training camp. It's hard to take Christian off the field. He's such a good player. Didn't do a great job in the first game. We came out of the first game saying, hey, let's try to get Mike 10 plays. We had some plays with him and Christian on the field at the same time. Christian went down. He went in and played, and I liked the things that he did. And so we go into this week feeling, really good about him, feeling really good about Trenton Cannon, feeling good about Reggie Bonifon. So, those guys have played, and that's the one thing we have. We have running backs. We have 3 running backs who have played the position.
Let's go to Josh Klein and then Miles Simmons.
Hey, Coach. Brian Burns popped up as limited. Are you concerned at all with that thigh? And also just he kind of, after watching the tape, it seems like he jumped off the screen in terms of his pass rush. What did you see from him in week 2 and his growth?
Yeah, I mean, he got kicked today and finished practice. It's just, he sat out a couple reps. So, I mean, I think he'll be fine. We played a lot of 3-man rush last week. I think one of the stories of the games, I think, the quarterback last week threw for 200 yards in the first half and Phil adjusted. We went to a lot of 3-man rush in the second half. That's asking Burns both to rush and to drop. And I think we held him to 20 some yards passing in the second half. And I think Brian's a versatile player. I mean, he's a guy who can rush. He can get pressure on the quarterback, has a great spin move. And also made some key plays, dropping into coverage, breaking up, making huge tackles. So I think he's a really versatile player. He's had some, bangs and bumps and bruises and some different things that have, I wouldn't say slowed him down, but, he's just kind of learning how to, I think play through all those things. When you're a defensive lineman in the NFL, you're always going to have something, and you're going to have to learn, you're going to have to, make yourself play through it. And so he's been doing that, and I'm excited about those things. But his potential is vast. He's so versatile. We're probably, doing a lot of different things with him other than just asking him to rush. So his production doesn't only show up in terms of sacks and pressures, but I think he made some key plays for us last week. Even rushing the punter and forcing a punt. I mean, he does a lot of big things for us.
Hey, Matt, notice on film that Curtis Samuel took a snap or 2, maybe 3 or so at running back. What do you like about his versatility that he can play there? And is that something that, especially with Christian out, you may take a little advantage of?
Yeah, I mean, he just ran 2 speed sweeps as a receiver. He's been our speed sweep runner. And then we had one play where, he and Christian shifted, and if they left the box light, we would hand him the ball. I'm sorry, I'm coughing. But, we think he's a receiver. We think he can do a lot of things. But he is a good speed sweep runner, does a nice job, getting the ball on the perimeter. So, we're always trying to find different ways to get him the ball.
I'll go to Jonathan Alexander and then Phil Orban.
Hey, Matt. Hope you're doing well. So a little off theme. Phil Snow's been with you, every head coaching stop that you've been at. And I suppose not everyone can say that. Why him? And, why did you feel he was the right fit when you were hired with the Panthers to rebuild this defense?
Because he's the best coach I know. He's a tremendous teacher. He doesn't make excuses everywhere we've been. He's built the defense. My goodness. Over the course of 3 years, it takes a little bit of time at first, but we always ending up having a great defense. He's just a tremendous teacher and a tremendous builder and a tremendous coach, and been in the NFL before. He's been around some great coaches, been a great coordinator in college, multiple stops, going all the way back to Arizona State. I think we're blessed and lucky to have him. I think, the biggest thing right now is, we just have to kind of put it all together on defense. But, coming out of the Raiders game, all the questions I got asked were about the run defense. And we held him to 37 yards rushing through 3 quarters, so that's not good enough because in the 4th quarter we gave up those 2 runs, a 28-yard run and whatever, a 60-yard run. But you can see signs of, okay, when everything's kind of clicking, we can do it, and then, last week it was, whatever it was, 200 yards passing the first half, and in the second half, you see how much better we play in terms of the passing game. So I just think I know and believe in Phil's ability to adjust and make the most out of our guys and get the most out of our guys. And so I'm look forward to just continuing to build and take advantage of the guys who are out there.
Matt, this question is kind of with Brian Burns in mind, but it's also a bigger picture as well. I'm wondering, with such a young defense and not having been with some of these guys last year in these important developmental years, how do you measure development if you haven't been with the guy the year before? What do you look for?
Yeah, I'm just looking for like day to day. That game on Sunday should have been like our second preseason game. We should have come in and really kind of said like, all right, guys, this is what we have to do better. There's things coming up. There's mistakes that are made that you have to actually get into a game to see, and it's not fun, to have it be a game that counts. But we're still in the early growth stages, in my opinion. So I'm just looking for day-to-day development. I mean, even like in terms of the coaching staffs on all sides of the ball, like they're just now seeing what guys can do and what guys can't do in crucial situations and in competitive situations, and they're tailoring, what we're doing. Hey, is it this run? No, maybe it's this run, that we do well. Is it, are we a blitzing team? Are we a coverage team? Are we a 4-man rush? Are we man-to-man team? I mean, we're figuring out who we are because we haven't had that time. So in terms of players, I'm just watching them. I'm watching them day by day, snap by snap. All I want them to do is come in and just get a little bit better every day. Like there is no overnight success. I mean, when you come into a place that has struggled, that you have to make small gains, and small gains eventually you look back and you say, wow, look what we built. Well, you built it one brick at a time. And so there's no rush. There's no easy way to do it, right? And there's no way to become a great player overnight. Guys just have to build. But I think what you see with guys like Brian Burns is they're just getting a little bit better every week. And then you look up and all of a sudden Brian's out there like he was, at times in the second half, terrorizing everyone. And you're like, how'd that happen? Well, I mean, he just gets better and better and better each and every day that he goes out to practice.
Let's go to Steven and then Skylar.
Coach, there's been so much debate over the efficacy of running backs in recent years. And back in the spring, I think in a radio interview, you said that you didn't view Christian as just a traditional running back and that you viewed him as a playmaker. Where do you think Mike Davis falls in that category?
I mean, Mike's a running back. He's a really good running back. He's a running back for us. And he's going to go out there. He's going to run our runs, catch a ball out of the backfield and protect and do all those things at a really high level. So he's someone I count on. I think he'll make a lot of plays for us out of the backfield. But he's a traditional running back that can do a lot of really good things.
Hey, Matt, it looks like Justin Herbert's probably going to get the start this weekend. Just with one game under his belt, do you feel like you guys kind of have to dabble more into his college tape? And then from just a draft process, what did you like out of him during the evaluation stuff?
Yeah, I think we're just going to have to base it off of what we see on the tape, of what they've done the first two games, what they did with him when he got in there. If it is in fact him playing, I just got off the field, so I don't know too much, but Justin's a really, really smart guy from just from the draft process, has a great arm, can, run 4.5, is a great athlete, big, powerful guy. So, and then you watch him in his first start, he goes out there and he plays at a really high level. So he's a special young talent. And as a person, I have a lot of respect for him, but we'll have to really kind of hone in on maybe specific things they did with him. But, they have their offense, and their offense is, it's really, it's got a lot of things that you see in college football in it. It's got a lot of speed sweep, zone reads, speed options. I mean, things that we saw in the Big 12, things that you see on Saturdays. And those are things that obviously he did at Oregon as well. So I think the offense as it is what they were doing with both Tyrod and he is an offense that he's probably very comfortable with from his time at Oregon.
Let's go to David Newton and then Jason Huber.
Yeah, Matt, I want to ask you one more Teddy question, like a follow-up, kind of what I asked you the other day. But he's been labeled as a game manager, and Phillip Rivers was talking about that the other day because he's been labeled the same way, and he kind of took that as a negative connotation. how do you feel about that, and how do you view Teddy in that category?
Yeah, that's something that I've never said that. So that's something that someone else said. I think Teddy's an excellent quarterback. I think he's brought us back from he's brought a young team back from double-digit leads twice. I think when you do that, you're not a game manager. You know what I'm saying? When you get the ball and you're in 2 minute and you're in shotgun and you're down 2 scores and you bring your team roaring back to take the lead, or last week you're down 21, you bring your team back and you almost have a chance to win the game. I think you're a quarterback. And so, those terms, that the game manager term as it is usually for a guy that, hands the ball off 40 times a game and they throw it, between 18 to 22 times and they play defense and, they're trying to throw for, they're trying to be 18 of 22 for 175 yards. And that's not us. We're out there and we're winging it around and it's not perfect yet. It's game 2. We'll keep getting better. And I believe 100% in Teddy.
Hey, Matt, you mentioned, the Chargers offense and how unique it is with guys like Austin Eckler and it's Joshua Harris at running back. What's the game plan, or not the game plan, but working with them and the skill sets that they have that will be tough to stop?
Austin's a dynamic back. He's quick, explosive, hard to tackle. I really have enjoyed watching him play. I've seen him on TV, but to go back and watch the tape, I've really liked watching him play. He's a dynamic. They have a traditional run game, some outside zone, some duo, then they have all the college plays. They'll try to stress you and get you in space, especially with quarterbacks who can run, and then great wideouts, a great tight end. They have real skill. So I think for us, the thing that we're trying to do is we just got to kind of put everything together. We've had these great moments of pass defense. We've had these really good moments of run defense, but they haven't been consistent enough to win. So we've got to just kind of put it all together. And then hopefully continue to force turnovers. The 2 turnovers we got last week were crucial to us, getting back in the game.
All right, guys, we don't have time for too much more, so let's go with Joe, and then we'll finish up with Elena.
Matt, was wearing the face shield last week almost as a way to keep yourself from pulling the mask down? And what did you think about the NFL banging those 5 coaches pretty hard for the mask?
Yeah. So for me, the mask, sometimes it can be hard for me. So, cause I'm having to wear the sunglasses, when I wear the mask and the sunglasses, sometimes the sunglasses fog up, so, on game day, I don't want to be bothering with my eyes. So the first game I felt myself pulling my mask down to talk sometimes and to get some air. So, it became apparent like, hey, maybe I should try the visor, and Donnie Toner, who's awesome here, found a way to fix them to my sunglasses. I wore it all game, and then I think in like the 3rd quarter and 4th quarter, it was so windy there that it blew off, and I just put the mask back on. And then I'm just glad I was able to not get fined, and I'm glad I was able to follow the rules. I really appreciate the people here making it easy for me, because obviously I am dealing with 2 things. I want to make sure I'm COVID sensitive and wear the mask, but at the same time, I'm also dealing with this eye that requires me to wear sunglasses when I'm outside.
I was just wondering, we've talked a lot about how Mike Davis is always going to be filling in Christian's role exactly, but is there anyone that you're looking to on the offense to kind of, Christian does a lot. He's one of the captains on the team, to kind of fill in for Christian in other ways that you're looking to?
Yeah, I think anytime you lose a great player, you don't just want the guy who comes in at his position to fill the void. You want everyone around them to raise their level so that we all, raise up. And I think for me, our receivers. Robbie's been really, really dynamic. I'm really looking forward to seeing DJ continue to develop, Curtis continue to develop, Robbie. As they get more and more comfortable in this offense, Seth Roberts, our tight ends. I just think it's really important that everybody understands that, this was their 2nd game in this offense, and now they're going into week 3. Like, every week should get better and better and better. And so, we walked off that field really, really disappointed on Sunday, at the turnovers and the negative plays and penalties. But I think we also see, like, if we just can eliminate some of these things like we did the first week, we're going to have a chance. And then, we played the Raiders, and then we saw them play their night. They're obviously a very good team. So I think for us, it's just a matter of, hey, let's get better. Like, let's not worry about anything. Let's not panic. Let's just get better. And I think if you were out at practice today, like that's a team that's trying to get better. And we're going to go play this week, and some good things will happen. Some bad things will happen. You know, hopefully we find a way to win the game, and then we'll come back next week and we'll do the same thing. And if we do that, we'll just get better and better and better. But I think that's true for all the guys on offense as they get more comfortable and as guys get banged up. Guys are going to get hurt. Guys are going to go down in games and practices, and other guys are going to have to step up. And so we're just trying to build a system here where everybody gets better every day. So, you know, when Christian comes back, we want to have a really good team, you know, to put out there around him.
All right, Coach, we appreciate you taking the time.